And if it's not, I hope that things can get better over time today. And if not today, I hope that you live to see a better tomorrow. So, in today's episode of Mark's Work Life, I still feel calm. Today is day 2 of me saying that, and it's not a lot in comparison to the days that I have not felt that way. But 2 days of peace in a row is something to talk about. Yesterday, I felt, not yesterday, sorry, Monday, I felt an almost false sense of calm. And the reason that I say that is because something that I have been asking for about 3 months now was finally granted to me. And it was granted to me seemingly very easily. I'm like, I need this, I need this, I need this, I need this. I kept repeating it every week, every week, every week. The answer is like, no, 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 no. Then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, the answer was yes. So I'm like, what happened all these months, and now that all of a sudden you are going to do what I have been asking you for? So that was just plaguing me in my mind. Is this a setup? When is the other shoe going to drop? That's what I was thinking. Today, more information comes out about things that have been going on within the organization. And if anyone who has a membership to my page is interested, I'll give you a little bit more detail there. But for here, as y'all know, I keep it very generic. Basically, I'll tell you the truth. Even though they told me, we are going to grant you the thing that you've been asking for all these months, I was saying to myself, did I expose myself as the complainer, as the one who's always going to make complaints, as the person who's going to give the pushback, the person who is not going to be agreeable? Because I've been in spots before where speaking up for myself and advocating for myself did not end up turning out to my benefit. My last job being one of them. Like, advocating for myself put me on this list, it seemed like, where I could do no right. Everything that I did and said was going to be regarded a certain way, and they just weren't going to treat me the same as everybody else. So I was like, I hope that that's not going to be what happens here. Hi, Edward. But with the information that I learned today, I basically learned that had I not spoken up for myself and my needs and said that these needs are a requirement and not a request, I could have been locked into the situation that they stuck me in. And I would have been locked in there. And they would have said, thank you very much, Mark, for being the first to do this, the pioneer, the person who sets the blueprint for everybody else. But I chose to be the person to say, this is not right, this is not fair, and because of that, now things are going to be done in a fair way when it comes to me. Now, might that fall on somebody else? Yes. Now it's going to fall on somebody else's shoulders, and that's not really the right way to handle it. From their perspective, it's not the right way to handle it. But on my end, it means that they're not going to do it to me. And that's the main thing. I don't speak on behalf of a group. I don't speak on behalf of everyone on my team, because it's not like they speak up for me. Everybody knew that I was in this position. Nobody spoke up for me, because it's like, if Mark's not going to do this, then I'm going to be stuck doing this. Or it's a possibility for me to be stuck doing this. So if I don't have any kids of my own, but if I were to have kids, I would tell them, like, the way that my parents raised me and trained me, I understand it for the time period that they grew up in. They grew up in an era of just do whatever it takes to make sure that you secure that paycheck. And I understand it. Especially if you're a parent and you have mouths to feed. I understand it fully. You can't afford to advocate for yourself at risk of just being terminated. The thing is, we have rights. And like I've said before, I jumped into a bait and switch situation where I was told and contracted, and it's on paper, that I'm doing one thing. And I'm going along my merry way, figuring things out, getting better. I'm improving every day. Then all of a sudden, 6 months, 7 months in, now you're doing something totally different as agreed upon. And I'm like, where and when did this agreement that you're talking about take place? I don't recall. It didn't take place. It's gaslighting. So I kept saying, unless you plan to up my compensation and change my title or something, I'm not willing to do this. And I kept saying it over and over and over and over and over and over. And now the thing that they were having me doing, they solved the problem by having somebody else do it. I don't know, this might sound a way, but better them than me. Like, I wish that it wasn't being done at all, but better them than me. That's my motto about all this stuff. Just don't do it to me. Whatever you're going to do that is just unfair, don't do it to me. And they're not doing it to me, but if I hadn't spoken up, they would be. So I guess long and short, I am more than willing to be that person who stands up for himself. Standing up for yourself is not always easy. As a matter of fact, it's not easy. It's not easy at all. Because the thing is, you're standing on an island. Like, I don't know if any of you have been on You versus Management Island. It's a hard place to navigate sometimes. Because even if your coworkers are all standing in agreement with you when you're speaking behind the scenes, there's only so many that are willing to actually stand on that same business when it comes to talking to management and advocating for yourself. But I have now found myself 2 times in 2 different jobs back to back. Actually, no, make that 3 different jobs where I've advocated for myself for big things, and the end result has been in my favor. Because the biggest thing any job can do is to make you feel like if you don't do exactly what I say, you're just not going to have an income anymore. But the thing is, if you understand your job rights, if you take correct documentation, send out those emails, save everything, keep receipts. If you do that, they know there's nothing that they can do. And if they try to do something, you have work law options, which I let my last job know that I was aware of, which is why they never fired me. Have you ever heard of getting 6 write-ups a year and still being employed and not being fired? Based on the laws around your write-ups and how it's progressively supposed to go up to termination, I should have been terminated after the 3rd write-up at my last job. But I got 6 and I was never terminated. And the reason why I was never terminated is because I was not really in the wrong. They got me 6 write-ups on 6 technicalities. Basically, the manager was looking to give me those write-ups and found anything that she could to give me those. I think going through that special hell that I went through has made this one quite a bit easier. Those trials were for something. Okay. Hi Cass and hi Chocolate. If I missed anyone else, it's you alone. I had the fortune to walk away. Yeah, and I did that at my last job. I walked away, but in this particular place, I don't yet feel in a spot where I have to walk away, fortunately. I could have walked away, but I don't, surprisingly. I had a best case scenario and a worst case scenario of events in my head. And the best case scenario is actually what took place. All right. But I'm hopping off. Thanks for joining me. Like, comment, subscribe, and hit the notification bell to get notified of when I drop some more great content. Thank y'all.